Silver is going to $200 an ounce. I know that sounds insane. But stick with me because I found something in the supply data that makes it almost inevitable. And I'm going to walk you through the exact math that shows why. Here's what happened. I was deep in the weeds researching silver supply numbers. Not because I'm obsessed with silver, I'm not. But because I noticed something weird. Everyone talks about gold as the ultimate inflation hedge, but silver barely gets mentioned. And the supply numbers explain exactly why. We produce about 28,000 tons of silver every single year globally. That's a massive amount of metal. But here's the thing nobody talks about, we also use the same amount. So we're producing exactly what we need. Sounds balanced, right? It's not. Because that production number doesn't include investment demand. It doesn't include people like me buying silver coins and bars. That's extra demand on top of everything else the world needs silver for. So every single year, we actually need more silver than we produce. The gap gets filled by recycling. We melt down old electronics, old jewelry, old industrial equipment, and use it again. But here's the problem with recycling. We only recover about 25% of the silver that's actually out there in the world. Which means every year, the total available stockpile of silver gets smaller. And there's a hard limit to that. The organizations that study mining reserves estimate we have roughly 20 years of easily mineable silver left at current production rates. After that, every new ounce of silver becomes exponentially more expensive to extract from the ground. When extraction costs go up, prices go up. Whoa. It's that simple. But here's where it gets actually crazy. Because at the exact moment we're running out of easy silver, demand is about to explode in a way most people don't understand. Solar panels. Every single solar panel that gets installed has silver in it. Right now, solar accounts for maybe 15% of all industrial silver demand. That sounds small. But we're not talking about slow growth here. We're talking about the largest energy transition in human history happening right now. Governments worldwide have committed to net zero emissions. That's not optional. That's the law in most developed countries. Which means solar installations are going to triple, maybe quadruple in the next decade. Do the math. If solar demand increases 500% in the next 10 years, and silver is essential to every single panel, what happens to silver demand overall? It goes through the roof. Right now, solar is 15% of industrial demand. In 10 years, some analysts project it could be 35% of total demand. That's a complete reshuffling of the entire silver market. And here's the thing that matters. We're already producing at capacity. We're already mining all the silver we can mine. We're already using every ounce of it. There's no slack in the system. No buffer. No room for additional demand. So when solar demand hits, and it will, because this is government policy, not speculation, there's going to be a massive gap between how much silver the world needs and how much is actually available. That gap has to get filled somehow. It gets filled by price. This is basic supply and demand. More demand, same or lower supply, prices go up. It's not complicated. It's not controversial. It's just math. Let me put actual numbers on this. If solar demand becomes 35% of total silver use, we're short approximately 9,000 tons of silver every single year. You can't magic 9,000 tons of silver into existence overnight. Mining takes years. Refining takes time. Building new operations takes capital and regulatory approval. That shortage has to be solved with price. Either the price goes up enough that people use less silver in other applications, or it goes up enough that mining companies can justify the cost and risk of pulling silver from much harder to reach places. Either way, $200 an ounce starts looking pretty reasonable. Some estimates I've seen actually put it at $150 to $250 by 2035 if solar adoption happens the way energy analysts predict. But I need to be straight with you about something. I don't know exactly when this happens. Solar adoption could accelerate faster than expected, in which case we hit $100 in 5 years. Or new battery technology could reduce silver requirements, in which case it takes 15 years. The timeline is genuinely uncertain. So if you're buying silver thinking you're going to get rich quick, stop. That's not how this works. But if you're thinking about it differently, as a hedge against currency problems, as insurance against inflation, as something tangible you own that can't be digital wiped away, then $100 silver makes a lot of sense. Here's my actual position. I own some silver. Not a ton. Maybe 5% of my portfolio. Enough that if this supply/demand thesis plays out, I benefit. Enough that if it doesn't, I haven't risked anything that would actually hurt me. That's the move that makes sense. Not panic buying. Not liquidating your savings into bars and coins at premium prices. That's how you lose money. But building a position slowly over time, maybe buying a little bit every month or quarter, while understanding that you're betting on the supply story, that's rational. Because here's what we know for sure, the supply situation is getting tighter. That's not speculation. That's in the mining data. Demand is definitely going up. That's not speculation either. That's government policy and solar installation numbers that are already happening. Those two things are on a collision course. Yikes. And when they collide, the people who saw it coming will be holding silver. The people who don't will be wishing they had. So the real question isn't whether silver goes to $200. The real question is, are you going to be the person who owns it when it does, or are you going to be the person who watches it happen and says, I should have seen that coming?